for the day 43, I think so. Okay, let me share my presentation. Okay. So today's session is all about, we are going to see the cyber forensics. Okay. Okay. The main objective of today's session is to make you known about the basics of cyber laws and cyber forensics, and the outcome of the session is to know about the students may be able to understand the concept behind the cyber forensics. Okay. So these are the agenda of today's session. So first we'll be seeing about what is meant by a computer crime and what are the examples of computer crime and what is meant by cyber security. Sorry, I have typed twice. Okay. And next thing we'll be seeing what is meant by cyber forensics and why we need to have a computer forensics. Okay, cyber forensics, computer forensics, all representing the same thing. Okay, so other name is cyber forensics or computer forensics. Okay, and next we'll be seeing about the objectives of computer forensics and what is meant by digital evidence. It's the main thing to be collected for cyber forensics. Okay, and what are the rules involved in digital evidences, and what are the types of digital evidences, and where we have to find the digital evidences. So next we'll be comparing the cyber security with the cyber forensics. Okay, and we'll be seeing digital forensics investigation process model, the steps involved in it. Okay, and we will be seeing what are the applications where we can apply the cyber forensics and what are the disadvantages. All these things we'll discuss and come to the end of the session. Okay, so first thing is what is meant by a computer crime. Okay, so computer crime, it's an act, and who will be doing this computer crime means well-versed, knowledgeable or intelligible person who is very practiced in using the computer. Okay, so a knowledgeable computer user, sometimes they are also referred to as hacker. Okay, so the hacker will be illegally browsing the informations or steals any company's information or individual's private information. So they are going to be called as a computer, that act is going to be called as a computer crime. Okay, and we'll see what are the examples of computer crime. So some of the examples are listed here. Okay, the first computer crime is child pornography. Okay, so child pornography is making or distributing child pornography. It's nothing but the representation of sexual behavior in books, pictures, statues, motion pictures, or other media. So that is intending any user to cause the sexual excitements. Okay, so this is a criminal activity. Okay, and the next computer crime activity is cyber terrorism. So cyber terrorism is an act of hacking, threats, and blackmailing towards the business or a person, any individual person. So that act is called as cyber terrorism. Okay, and third one, cyber bully or cyber stalking. So this cyber bully is nothing but harassing someone online by sending or posting some messages, usually anonymously. So this act is called a cyber bully. Okay. In other words, we can say using online technology, cyberbullying means it's to hurt someone on any purpose, or to harass or threaten any person, or embarrasses or target any other person. That activity is called a cyberbullying. Okay. Next example is creating malware. So creating malware or distributing malware, it's an act of distributing the viruses or spywares. It's all about creating the malwares. The next one is denial of service attacks. So which means that overloading the system with so many requests, okay, so that the server could not serve the normal request. That act is called as or attack is called as denial of service attack. Okay. And espionage means it's the practice of spying others. So what is the purpose of spying others? Means to obtain any information about the activities or ongoing plans. Okay. So spying others, that is espionage act. Okay. The next examples of fraud. So fraud is manipulating the data. For example, changing the banking records to transfer the money to other accounts. So doing some fraud things in transaction of bank amounts. Okay. And harvesting means it's act of collecting the account or other accounts related account related informations of other people's. Okay. So harvesting means nothing but collecting the login informations of accounts, bank accounts. Okay. And identify theft means it's pretending to someone you are not. Okay. And intellectual property theft means it's which means stealing the practical information or conceptual information derived by the another person or company. So that act is called as intellectual property theft. Phishing activity is a cyber attack that is designing individuals to guide a private or personal information about that person. That is called as phishing. Okay. And so next, or in other words, we can say phishing is a fraudulent attempt to obtain the sensitive information or data such as usernames, password, credit cards by using a that is disguised email, means cheating through email. So that email is taken as a weapon for this activity, phishing activity. Okay. And the next act is salami slicing. So this act is nothing but stealing a tiny amount of each transaction. That act is called a salami slicing. Okay. Scam. The next one is scam is an illegal trick. Usually it was done with the purpose of getting money from the people. Okay. So deceiving or cheating the people for getting the money. Okay. And next one is spamming. Spamming means the activity of sending advertisement by emails to any people who do not want to receive them. The people doesn't want to receive that particular mail, but spamming is a activity of sending the advertisement mails. Okay. And next one is spoofing. So spoofing means it's an act of cheating a communication from an unknown source as being treating like it's being coming from a known or trusted source. Okay. Next one is unauthorized access. So unauthorized access is nothing but a person gains a physical access without permission to a network, system, or application data or any other resource. Okay. And the next act is wiretapping. So wiretapping means it's a practice of connecting a listening device to a telephone line. suppose if two persons are communicating, so through this telephone line, some listening device will be connected, so that the conversation between the two peoples will be monitored secretly. That act is called as wiretapping. So these are all some of the examples of computer crime. Okay, so let's see what is the definition for cyber security. So it comprises some technologies, processes, and controls that are designed to protect the system, network resources, informations, data from the cyber attack. So main thing cyber security means it's going to be the process of protecting your systems, networks, resources, data from cyber attack. Okay, and computer security can be anything from placing passwords on the computers to setting up a firewall. Okay, so through designing a strong password and installing a firewall, you can go for getting a secured computers resources. Okay, and what is let me come to the definition for what is meant by cyber security means. It tends to focus on how the malicious persons or actors use the electronic gadgets or devices. So the devices may be internet, routers or printers, network appliances, WAN, LAN, etc. Okay, to attack the information. Okay, so why we need cyber security? To prevent the, in order to prevent the individuals, organizations, financial institutions, and universities from the cyber attacks. Okay, and how the cyber security will be implemented, that is running the assets, electronic assets safely with the security implementations of the databases, networks, hardwares, using hardwares in a safe mode, firewalls, implementing the firewalls in your computer system, and doing the encryption implementation in your computer system. So in this way, you can go for having the cyber security. Okay. So what is cyber forensics? Okay. So cyber forensics is also known as computer forensics, digital forensics, e-forensics. So these are the other names for cyber forensics. Okay. So this cyber forensics is a process of identifying, preserving, analyzing, and presenting the digital evidence in a manner that is legally acceptable. So evidence is going to be considered, and this evidence is going to be playing a major role in a court in order to find the criminal. Okay, so this cyber forensics is mainly advanced technology to find the criminal person and hand over them to the court. Okay, so for that it's mainly used. Okay, so let's see what is cyber forensics. Okay, so application of investigation and analysis techniques, okay, to gather the evidence and preserve the evidence from a particular computing device in such a way that is suitable for presenting the evidences to the court. Okay, so that is called as cyber forensics. So cyber forensics is we have to apply the investigation and gather the some evidences, digital evidences, and preserve that evidences from the how we can collect the digital evidences means from the computing devices. There are so many computing devices. Using that, you can go for preserving the digital evidences and hand over to the, or you can go for presenting the particular digital evidences to the court. Okay. So in other words, we can define the cyber forensics as a science of collecting the evidences, electronic evidences or digital evidence. We can say it like digital evidence or electronic evidence, or examining that particular evidence and analyzing and giving report submitting the report to the court. So that process or technology, we call that cyber forensics. Okay, and it is an electronic discovery technique used to determine the evidence or reveal the technical criminal evidence to the court. Okay, so in other words, we can define the cyber forensics as the practice of gathering the data, computer related data, and retaining the data and analyzing the computer related data for investigative purpose, so that the data reveals the integrity of the originality of the data. Okay, that should be maintained. Okay, and how the cyber forensics has been implemented. So through the digital forensics investigation process involves identification of the digital evidence, preservation of the evidences, and analysis process, then finally presentation process. So through this processes, the investigation will be takes place in a stepwise manner. Okay, and why we need a cyber forensics? So mainly the cyber forensics is used in criminal investigations to identify what has happened in the incident and how it has been happened and when it has been happened and the criminal involved. So all these will be carried out in the criminal investigations. That is for that purpose we need a cyber forensics. Okay. So in other words, we can also say cyber forensics, it includes the process of collecting the digital data or digital evidence, we can say, or electronic evidence, analyzing and reporting in such a way that is valid for legally admissible, which can be used in the finding the cause of the crime and finding the culprit of the crime. Okay, just finding out the criminal person. Okay, so computer forensics means it is an application which is helpful in investigation or an analysis technique. Okay, so the main motive behind the same is to preserve the evidences from the specific digital computing devices and also transform the collected information in a way in a form which is possible to present the evidence in the court. Okay, so what does computer forensics means? It involves obtaining the digital information, analyzing the evidence in the criminal case or administrative case. Okay, so computer forensics investigates the data that can be retrieved from the hardware, computer's hard disk or other storage medium. So it is also the task of recovering the data that users have hidden or deleted and using it as an evidence. That is, for example, if some persons has used some data, so that confidential data might have been hidden and deleted from the computer. So with the help of this technology, computer forensics, so the people will go on recovering all the data which have been deleted in the computer system. Okay, so that can be used as the evidence in the and it becomes a major evidence in a certain case. Okay, so that can be provided or that can be produced as a evidence or witness to the court. Okay, so example for computer forensics is recovering thousands of deleted emails. Okay, and performing investigation post employment termination, recovering the evidence post formatting the hard drive. So what are the informations stored in the hard drive will be recovered. Okay, so these are all some of the examples of computer forensics, and performing the investigations after multiple users have taken over the systems. Okay, so why we need computer forensic? Okay, we'll see. To produce the evidence in the court. Okay, for that we need a cyber forensics or computer forensics that can be lead to the punishment of the actual criminal. Okay, and next thing, to ensure the integrity of the computer system. Next, to focus on the response to high-tech offenses and started to intertwine, okay, intertwine, sorry. And it gives assistance to the security forces for reaching the criminals also. So taking some of the preventive measures in the futures and gives assistance in finding about the attacks also. So for all these purpose, we need a computer forensics or cyber forensics. What is the main objective of computer forensics is that to find the criminal which is directly or indirectly related to the cyber world, okay, and to find out the digital evidences or electronic evidences. So, and next objective is to present the evidences in a manner that leads to the legal, to take any legal action on the criminal, okay. So what is meant by digital evidence? So digital evidence is all about the evidence is collected from the digitalized devices like laptop, so laptop, sorry, GPS, digital camera, then audio camera, video camera, then iPad, then digital watch, notepad, mobile phones, pen drive, then voice recorder, and so on. So these are all the examples of digital evidences. We can collect the information or the data through these devices. Okay. So digital evidence means it's any data or information that is recorded or preserved on any medium in or by a computer system or other any similar devices that can be read or understand by a person or computer system or any other similar devices. So the devices can be listed out here. Okay. So what are the rules for providing digital evidences? So the evidence should be an admissible one. So what do you mean by admissible? Admissible means it must be able to be used in the court. Okay. So the evidence should be in such a manner to be admissible. Okay. An authentic one. So that is, evidence must be relevant to the case. Okay. And it should be a complete one. So complete means it must not lack any information. And reliable one. The digital evidence should be reliable. No question should not be asked about the authenticity. Okay. And believable one. So believable means it should be a clear and it should be easy to understand and believable by a jury. Okay. And there are types, two types of digital evidences are there. The first one is persistent data and the second one is volatile data. So what is meant persistent data means? Meaning that the data that remains intact when the computer is turned off. Okay. So once the computer is not in use, the data will be remains inactive. Okay. That is called as persistent data. It is permanently stored. That is called as persistent data. For example, you can store the data in a hard drives, disk drives, and removable storage devices also. For example, you can use the USB drives or flash drives to store the information from the computer systems. Okay, that is called as that can be taken as a persistent data, which is one type of digital evidences we can preserve it. Okay. And the next type is volatile data. So volatile data means it's a data which should be lost whenever the computer is turned off. Okay. So for example, you can go have the deleted files, computer history, computer's registry, temporary files, web browsing history. So all these, once the computer is turned off, the data won't be present. Okay, that is that we call it as a volatile data. So where we can find the digital evidence? Okay, so the forensic team will find the digital evidence from the text documents, graphical images, calendar files, databases, audio, video files, video files, websites, and application programs. Okay, and even also from the viruses, Trojan horses, and spyware. Okay, And also we can find the evidences from the email records and instant messaging logs also, and so on. Okay, so how to handle these informations? So we can handle the informations, that is the information and data being sought after and collected in the investigation must be properly handled. The informations or can be of two types. One is volatile and non-volatile. So the volatile informations can be a network information, communication. That information can be about a communication between the system and the network. That's going to be called as active process, and the programs and daemons currently active on the system. So logged on users and employees currently using the systems, that opening the files, that we call it as the opening files, and the libraries in use, hidden files, trojans loaded in system. So all these we call that as a volatile information. Non-volatile information, this includes informations like configuration settings, system files, registry settings that are available after reboot. Okay, and accessed, all these informations can be accessed through drive mappings from the system. So this information should be investigated and reviewed from a backup copy. Okay, so there are four kinds of forensic techniques are available. So the first one is live analysis, the second one is cross-drive analysis, and the third one is steganography, and the fourth one is deleted files. Okay, so the forensic team will be using all these techniques in order to find out the criminals. Okay, so live analysis means the computer will be examined starting from the operating system, using the custom forensics to extract the evidence. That is live analysis. Okay, so they'll be given a system or computers. The team will be examining the computers, and they will go through the operating system also. Okay, and cross-drive analysis means they will correlate the informations found on multiple hard drives. So whatever the informations they are preserving, they will go on correlating the informations. Okay, and the next thing, they can be used to perform any anomaly detection also. Okay, so the cross-drive analysis will be done with the help of the software tools like Ncase, WinHex, ProDiscover S2. Okay, and deleted file means so the forensic team will be go for recovering the deleted files also. Okay, with the help of some software tools, they will go for recovering and what are the data that have been deleted. Okay, and steganography means concealing a message or image or file within the another message, image, or file. Okay, so the detection of steganographically encoded packages is called as steg analysis. Okay, the simplest method to detect the modified files is to compare them with the originals. Okay, so steganography means hidden writing. Okay, so let's see the relationship. What is meant by cyber security and cyber forensics? So cyber security means it is all about protecting the electronic gadgets or assets from the breaches, that is from the attacks, that is called as cyber security. So protecting from the threats, protecting the electronic gadgets or devices from the threats, that is called as cyber security. Whereas cyber forensics will be explaining the how a policy it's being violated of, and who is responsible, who is the culprit, finding the who is the criminal. Okay, that is finding out the digital evidences to be produced at the court and finding the exact criminal that is relevant to the case. That is called cyber forensics. Okay. It's Edmond Locard's principle. It's all about a preparator of a crime will bring something into the crime scene and leave with something from it, and that can be used as forensic evidence. Okay, and thus every cyber fraud or cyber crime will have a evidence. That's Edmond Locard's principle. For example, 10 people are going to decide. Sorry, 10 people decided